Hey everyone, this is Alex USA Days, and we're continuing to learn quality assurance from scratch. So today we're going to talk about Linux commands. Right now we're in a basic console commands section. We already finished Windows commands. Today we're going to talk about Linux commands, and I will do very brief intro into the networking. Also, a quick announcement. I actually created a Patreon page because some people asked me about that. I will have now link in description if you would like to support this channel, if you would like to support this effort. I would really appreciate that. So let's get into today's topic. So we're going to talk about all those commands. We're going to practice them hands-on, and I will also provide a link into the description to an actual a list of commands and materials that we talked about today. So you have them handy. Why do you need to know Linux commands, right? Many times as a QA engineer, you're going to work on devices and the environments that do not run on Windows. They will have their own version of Linux built in on the embedded device, like, for example, your modems or routers. Behind the scenes of the graphical user interface, there is some system that's running the whole thing. As QA engineer, many times you'll have to access it, config it, grab logs, maybe do some IP address configuration, stuff like that. So it's important to know at least some basics of it, understand it, and if you're faced with that when you work, you can actually go ahead and Google and search for something and understand how to navigate in a console. Because those environments, they don't have, might not have graphical user interface as you used to in Windows, right? So you'll be in the terminal navigating folders, creating files, grabbing logs, and so on. So let's go briefly through the commands. PWD. This one will display the current working directory. And we will go through them also in the console in practice after the introduction. Make dir, and then name of directory. This will create a new directory in Linux. CD. This will allow to change to a directory or get out of the directory. Touch will allow to create new file. ls will list the content of a directory. lsa will list everything including hidden files. Cat, that will display the content of a file. vi is an editor. Using vi you can actually get into the file and update file content, and we'll do that. Grep will search for a pattern in a file. I'll show you how to do that. Tail, display the last few lines of a file. So if a long file you want to kind of read what is it all about, like get the last of it, you can use tail command with a file name. CP will copy a file, so you can copy one file into another, or create a new file as a copy of a previous. Diff will compare two files and show the difference between file 1 and file 2. Here's my address for the Patreon created, Alex USA Days. And this is the page link to actual system that will bring up the Linux system. You don't have to install anything. We just go to this web page and we'll open a console. We'll have a Linux running in the browser. rm. This is a command that will remove files. So you put rm file name. Chmod. This is to change file permissions. So sometimes you want only certain access to a file, so you can do that by changing file permission. Or sometimes you're trying to access a file and you can't, or you can't execute the file, and that means maybe you have lack of permission, so you'll have to update the permission in order to be able to do that. Find all files with certain extension and directory and subdirectory. So essentially, it's like a search command. Ifconfig, this will display network interface information, and using this command, you can also configure your network interfaces. Ping, this will test network connectivity. So when you connect a couple devices and you want to make sure that they can communicate, you will use ping with the IP address to make sure there's communication happening. Netstat, so this will display network connections, routing table, and interface statistics. Netstat-A. There's an extra command that I'm going to show you how it works if you need to kill process and you don't want to go through searching of the process ID. Let's say something hangs or you need to, something's, you don't want to remove your system, but there's some process that maybe taking the port or something's not running, you need to restart it. First, you'll have to stop the process. So this command kill -9 will actually kill the process, but it's expecting the process ID. And in order to get this process ID, you can run this little script right here. So ps aux will get list of all processes running. Then you have this pipe. That means the result of this command is passed along through this pipe into the next command. Then grab my process name. So essentially, you will provide name of the process, and it will grab it out of all the list of processes. Then again, using pipe, it's going to pass it along to awk print $2. So this will grab the ID. This means it's going to be second column, and the second column will be ID for the process, and it will grab it and pass it along back to the kill command, essentially saying, hey, this is the ID of the process based on the process name. Please stop it. Here's the link for the document with the list of the commands. Again, will be available in the video description. And the last page is networking introduction. So when you work with devices, you most likely will have to configure the IP address to connect them so they can communicate, right? There's something called MAC address, and MAC address is a unique physical address assigned to a network interface or a device. If you ever like worked at home and maybe your router was not working or modem, you could talk to tech support. They would ask you to provide MAC address that will be written on the box. That's like a physical address of that device, right? On top of MAC address, there's IP address, and IP address is a unique identifier assigned to a device on the network. So one device on the network has to have an IP address so other devices can talk to it. An IP address consists of 4 numbers separated by periods, which with each number ranging from 0 to 255, for example, 192.168.1.100. And then there's netmask. Netmask is essentially your like network configuration. Devices with the same netmask are considered to be on the same network, while the devices with different netmask are on different networks. That's important. So if you will be setting up some sort of a test network and you want your devices to communicate, you want to make sure first that they are on the same network, on the same subnet, same netmask, right? And that they all have different IP addresses. Otherwise, there will be conflict. There are different types of netmasks. There's Class A, Class B, and Class C. For the test settings, most likely you're going to use Class C, so 255, 255, 255, 0. This 0 is determining the last 3 numbers here that are responding for the address of the device. That means that Class C network will have fewer than 254 hosts or fewer than 254 devices, right? So first one starts with 0 and then the next 254 devices. You don't need Class B and Class A if you have a small test network. Class C is enough, okay? That means you will have your IP addresses from 192.168.1.0 to 192.168.1.254, right? So there's essentially no need to add more devices if you're testing only 3 or 5 of 6. You don't really need to any other netmask classes. Okay, so let's go to our console right here. This is the web page. We're going to use Fedora right here, and we only need console, so we're going to click on this. You can follow along or just rewatch it, kind of practice on your own using the document. And it's loading. The console normally loads faster than a whole Windows system. That was in previous video, so let's expand this. All right, so, yeah, it's already loaded. Okay, so let's start with our Linux commands. So the first one we did is pwd. This is displaying the current directory. Now we want to make a directory where we're going to work and create like test files and stuff. So we'll make there and the name of the directory. So let's call it test directory. Okay. Next command, we want to change into that directory. So cd, name of the directory that we just created. And if you hit tab once you're typing, it's going to autocomplete for you. Now you can see we actually moved into this directory. So if we'll do pwd, before we were in the root directory. Now if we'll run this, you can see we're actually root and then in the test directory. Next command is touch. Or we can create a file using touch command. So let's name this test.txt. We created just a test file, and let's do ls. ls will show us the content of this directory, and now we see the test file exists. It is empty, so if we do cat on the file, we'll see there's no response. So let's use vi editor, vi, name of the file, and now we're going to open the file. In the file, press A. So A, you can start inserting text. So this is test. Let's do this is test file. Enter to get to the new line. I'm going to put banana here, and then enter Alex USA Days. Has Patreon now. Okay, cool. So if you hit shift and hold it and then press Z twice while you do that, it's gonna save it and exit. Shift. You have to press escape first. So you quit insert, and now do Shift ZZ. Now it saved it and exited. All right. Now once we did this, we can verify with cat command that actually now there's content, right? And you see all this stuff was added. We can also do clear to clear the console. And if you now move your arrows up and down, you can see you can go through the list of the previous commands, which is very helpful if you need to rerun stuff. All right, so using grep, we can search for stuff. So grep, then let's say we're going to search for banana that we added, and then name of the file, test.txt, and it found it. If we're going to search for another word, let's say test, you see it returns the whole line. So essentially, the whole line of content where the match is found will be returned. This is helpful when you gather some logs and has tons of data and you need to retrieve logs specific to some date or something. You can search using grep and just get this out of the file. If you want to look into last 10 lines, few lines of a file, just to make sure like this is the file you're looking at, you can use tail. So tail and name of the file. Here we display everything because we have really small files, so not a lot of text, but it just returned everything we got inside. Let's do another clear, so we have a clean console. Now, if you want to copy a file, you can do cp, the name of your file, and the new the file name that you want. So let's do test2.txt. So we're copying content of test.txt into test2.txt. Let's do that. And let's update test2.txt using vi. Get into the file. Let's do, instead of banana here, let's do pineapple. All right. So let's save this. So escaped, shift ZZ, we exited and saved it. If we do ls, now we see we have two files. We have test file and test2 file that we created. That's great. Now, let's say we want to know what's difference in two files. We can do diff and then files that we're trying to compare. And we can see that second line banana in the first file and then pineapple in the second. So there's differences showing to us, right? If you want to remove file, you can just do rm and file name. So that's going to delete it. So we're going to delete the second file that we created, do ls again, and only one test remains. Now, if you want to update access of a file, you can do chmod, name of the file, permissions, and then name of the file. I have a link in the document on permissions. So essentially 777 would be read, write, and execute available to everyone. So if you need some file that everyone can access, you can do that. But normally, you want to consult with your IT department if there's some files that you want to provide access, kind of permissions you want to set, the name of the file, and the permissions updated. If you want to, for example, have permissions where file cannot be accessed by anyone, not can be executed, only read, you can't edit it. So 600. This gonna do only the owner of the file will have full read and write access. No one else will have to be able to do anything with it. Normally, the most common set of permissions you will see is 755. Again, about permissions, I have a very good article in the test, the document I'll be sharing in the description. You can go and read about it. All right, let's clear console. If you need to find something, you can use find command. So you can use find. Let's get our directory here, pwd. So find root test directory. So you need to provide where you're searching. And then let's say name, and we want to find a specific pattern. So we want every file that ends with .txt. So you put star, that means everything, and then the pattern here, .txt. If I'll do search like that, get back all of the files that match in this .txt pattern. Every file that ends with .txt will be returned, and we got it back. Sometimes you'll have tons of file, you need to do search in it. There's also a way to do search with grep, and a lot more efficient way. So I guess easier way to implement. Also, I'll have a link for that, how you can use grep to search for files. And this is coming from Stack Overflow. Stack Overflow going to be one of your best friends when you need to, you have answers. You will always have questions like you're trying to figure something out. You can't remember everything all the time. So you're not using Linux every day. You maybe after a couple of months you get back to Linux, you have to grab some stuff. You'll have to Google for things. So Stack Overflow will be your friend. You can do grep -ril, and then the text you want to find. So let's say test. We're looking for test, and then where you want to start the search from. So this is gonna mean that's gonna start from the root. So the very top. All right. So this did not work. How about root? Here we go. And it found a file that contains word test, right? So let's do test.txt. Let's say, is it going to find banana, right? So we want to find a file that has word banana. And it finds it and returns. So there's different ways how you can achieve things in tech, in different languages and different systems. You don't have to know of them. Again, you'll be doing Googling a lot, but just something like quick. I'm trying to show you that something you can use. Now we're getting into kind of networking stuff. So if we do ifconfig, we will see the list of interfaces, and here we have our interface ETH0. So it's actually like the networking card, right? There is our IP address, and here's netmask address. If we do ifconfig-a, it will give us more details. Show all interfaces. This is like local, your address that is not configured like your home address. Let's pin. Let's see if we can reach. I'm not sure if this machine connected to the internet, probably not, but let's see if we can ping a domain name, google.com. Okay. Address family is not supported by protocol. Okay, so. And actually, we are connected to the internet. You see, Google is now responding. So it was able to find this domain name, and then here's the IP address. It's coming back. So we are connected. That's awesome. If you want to do netstat, it will display network connections routing table in interface statistics. If you do -A, it will provide more information. You might need some of those commands, like if you will start working and again building like your own testbed connectivity. One thing that I wanted to show was ifconfig. You not only can view interfaces, but you can actually configure interface. So let's do ifconfig ATH1 and see if it will be able to create an interface. Okay, device not found. So if we do maybe like a virtual ATH0 one, and it created like a virtual interface based on this one, right? Now if we do ifconfig, can we see it? It doesn't show. Okay, that's fine. So let's do maybe reconfigure ETH0 and give it a different IP address. 168.1.1 and update the net mask. And you can see the IP address was updated and the net mask was updated. So I just want to show that using ETH command, ifconfig and name of the ifconfig command and the name of the your networking card, right? You can update IP address, net mask. You can, this way you can, if it's connected to a certain network, you can update the net mask and IP address and actually start communicating within that network if it's different from the network you're connecting to. And let's do list all processes. PS aux. PS. So this way we can do the extra command that finds and kill process based on the name. We're just gonna find a process that we want to kill. So here is second column. You see there's a process ID. All right, let's kill crypto. I'm not sure what it is. Let's kill PID 12. The name. Maybe. Okay, that's fine. So see if we can kill crypto. So kill -9 $, PS aux. So this is the same command that we just issued. It's going to display this table, right? And we put a pipe, grab name of the process. So let's kill DHCP-CD. So you actually, by killing some processes, you can like crash the system. Again, kill 9 -9 $, PS grab name of the process. So DHCP-CD. Another pipe here, AWK. And now we need to say grab the process from the second line from here. So print $2 and then close this. All right, execute it. 185, no such process. So I didn't find the process. Let's remove this. Quotes. Run again. 189. No such process. So process wasn't found. I wonder why. It's actually killed it. So I guess it killed it and then returned that there's no such process. That actually indicated the process was killed. You see that it was running here, and once we do PSOX again, it's not here. Okay, so hopefully this intro helps. Hopefully you found this educational. um, Again, you don't have to remember all of the commands, right? You don't have to know all of this stuff. What you want to do, you want to practice the commands a little bit in the console. You want to get familiar with them. And maybe you want to read about networking a little bit. You just want to have general knowledge. Once you start working, if this is something that you will need, you will be able to pick up quickly. If not, that's good. You can always come back to it once it's needed. Okay. This covers like a broad spectrum of different generic QA knowledge that you need to start working as a QA engineer. It doesn't mean you will use it. What you will do at work will greatly depend on the product that you're testing, because most times QA is about understanding the product and understanding acceptance criteria, business requirements of the product, and making sure that this product behaves as it's supposed to. So QA in a way serves like a gap between development and product management, where you are the one who is responsible to making sure that, okay, whatever software is coming out is doing what it's supposed to do. Uh, the tools, the technologies, the languages, or how you're going to test it, that's going to greatly depend on the product, on the stack, right? So you can't learn everything, but you have to be familiar with some concepts. Okay. All right. This was Alex USA Days. Thanks for watching, and bye bye.